Poos, welcome back to my channel. So today I am eating on some red lobster. If you are new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can become a whiny Pooh. Make sure you hit the post notification bell right next to it so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. This is actually the ultimate feast. I meant to say that. This is the ultimate feast here. I also have some beloved sauce right here. So we're going to go ahead and get to eating. I'm actually doing a true crime story. So if you do not like true crime, you might want to go ahead and click off this video right now. Oh, the drink I have, this is just a drink I just came up with. I don't even know what to call it. But let's go ahead and get to eating, y'all. So I'm going to just start eating a little bit first, and then we're going to go ahead and start talking about the true crime. They shrimp good. I also have my husband joining me again for today. I hope y'all don't mind. He's behind the camera. He'll be in front of the camera really soon, y'all. Okay? I love shrimp. So y'all know what I'm about to ask. How's everybody been doing? Please put it in the comment section below because I would love to know how you're doing. I eat my salad dry, y'all. I know that's weird. I know. I don't eat dressing on my salad. Okay. Y'all don't have to talk about me. So my heat is on, y'all. Hopefully y'all don't hear it too much. Ooh, that was hot. I always keep a mirror next to me so I can see when food is dropping down my chin and all that. So let's go ahead and jump into this true crime case. But it was a couple. The wife name was Michelle. The husband name was Adribo. That's how you say his name? They were married. They were married for 18 years. They had 5 kids. 2 were adopted. The 2 oldest was adopted. And the 3 youngest ones was theirs. Well, all of them are theirs, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, his name was Brulio.
Brulio?
Yeah.
Why was I calling him a Brulio? Okay, well, it was Brulio. My bad.
Brulio Castillo.
Oh, that was good. So they were married for 18 years, had 5 kids. They ran the IT business together. It was very successful. Her husband was, what was he, a veteran, a wounded veteran. And so, because her husband was a wounded veteran,
he was able to get the move to the top of the list to get the government contract to start his IT company.
Right. So that's why I have my husband behind the camera to help me. So basically, he had millions of dollars in contracts So he was a millionaire. They was making money. They got this big old pretty house. I mean, they was living good. They was both cool, happy with each other. And then out of the blue, you know, they started to, you know, fall apart. They started arguing. The husband was fighting her. He was verbally abusing her. And that's good. He would lock her in a closet. Just things like that. So she finally worked up the courage to, you know, ask for a divorce. So, but before they got a divorce, before he even signed the divorce papers, he ended up getting a new girlfriend, and he moved out of his wife's house, well, their house, but he moved down the street. He moved like a few blocks from his current wife's, his current wife's house. During that time, she actually got a restraining order against him, so he wasn't able to pick the kids up from her house. He wasn't able to go nowhere near her house, right? So they finally end up, you know, they got a divorce. She started her life over. She got healthy mentally, physically. She was just doing really good. She was in a very good space.
Because before that, she was basically depressed and stressed and feared for her life.
Yeah, she
used to tell her friends that if anything happened to her, that Brolio was the one who probably did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she used to say stuff like that to her friends all the time because she wanted her friends to know, look, if I pass away or if something like tragic happened or anything to me, it was my husband. She was so terrified of her husband. I couldn't even imagine being in a house with somebody that I'm like terrified of. Like, were you scared to go to sleep? You know what I'm saying?
Scared to go to sleep around you?
Huh?
I'm scared to go to sleep around you.
Boy, bye.
Crazy as hell.
Whatever. So, you know, she was getting her life back together and all that stuff, and she was trying to get a little over $14,000 a month from her husband for child support. But one night, Michelle went out with her friends, and she was celebrating. What was she celebrating?
She had just qualified for a triathlon. How do you say it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And she ended up picking up her kids that night, and she set her house alarm. She tucked her kids in the bed, and her kids woke up the next morning, and they end up calling their dad because they couldn't find their mama at all in the house. They searched the whole entire house and couldn't find their mama. So they was crying, you know, could you imagine being a little kid waking up and don't see your mama? Like, where, you know, ain't nobody in the house that's grown.
Her kids was young. They was like 7, 10,
and
9. Yep.
I would be so scared. Like, where my mom at? I would be scared. So, the dad basically had to call the neighbor because he wasn't able to go to the house to check on, you know, to see what was going on with his ex-wife because he, you know, she had a restraining order against him. So he had to call the neighbor. The neighbor ended up calling the police, which, you know, the detectives found was odd because why did he call the neighbor to tell the neighbor to call the police when he should have just called the police? You know. So they thought that was like really weird.
Well, he didn't. He didn't tell him to call the police. He asked him, "Can he go check it out?"
Right, but okay, but still, why didn't he call the police?
But I mean, think about it like this though. Like, what if he's trying to like play it smart? You see, motherfuckers like that already think he a businessman. He think he's smarter than everybody. You know what I mean? Right. So he probably thinking like, oh well, I didn't call the police because what if she ran out to the store or something real quick and just left the kids there and she coming right back? You know what I mean? And then now I don't call the police for nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just what I would think.
Yeah. So the neighbors end up, calling the police. Oh, that's good. These snow crabs are so little.
Oh, you got them. I ain't even seen them.
What? The crackers?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on.
You thought I forgot them, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So when the police arrived, oh shit. I just hurt myself. When the police arrived, they found Michelle in the basement, in the bathroom, with electric cord wrapped around the shower head. So it basically looked like she killed herself. So at that point, they were saying, she killed herself. But then it was just like this one detective, he wasn't really going for that. He was just like, the way she was positioned and everything, it looked like the whole thing was staged. Like her hair was in her face like this with it wrapped around her neck. And he was like, that's painful to have that wrapped around your neck with your hair all down like this in your face. He said he's seen a bunch of suicides and ain't never seen nothing like that.
And he was saying that the shower curtain was, not the shower curtain, but the shower was clear of any fingerprints, even hers. Like someone wiped it down. Like you would think by someone taking the shower, you would see their fingerprints on like the knob or the wall or somewhere.
Yeah. By her taking her own life, why wouldn't her fingerprints be on the cord or none of that? So, they fried shrimp is good. You want one? You want one? That's so good. I forgot I had some lemon. So now they saying, well, who could have staged it or whatever? Like who could have, did that to her? Like why would they do that? So they felt like, well, how could it be her ex-husband when he didn't have the alarm code to her house? So they end up one of the lead detective on the case, excuse me, he ended up going to her ex-husband's house. When he arrived, her ex-husband was at the top of the stairs on the phone speaking to his lawyer.
With a black eye and scratches all on his face.
With a black eye and with scratches all on his face. So he up here trying to talk to him, the detective, and her ex-husband is just like, my lawyer, is advising me not to speak to you and talk to you and all that. So at that point, the lead detective can't even ask him anything, So, but little do he know, he just moved to the top of their suspect list. So I just find that odd. Him just, being on the phone with your lawyer as soon as he pull up. I don't know. Look at this lobster. His little piece of lobster.
Shrimp bigger than it.
Right. Hold on. It's good, y'all. So the detective first had to basically prove that it wasn't a suicide, that it was actually a homicide. So what he did was he went to, see her body, and she ended up having like bruises on her face, bruises on her legs, which indicated that it wasn't suicide, because why is her legs bruised? And it was just a bunch of different things that they found, and they were like, yeah, this doesn't match up. So the forensic actually came back, and it stated that it was definitely a homicide, So the detective was like, okay, now we own it. He already knew it was, a homicide. Ooh, that's good. I know somebody waiting on me to get into the biscuits. They have the best biscuits. So good. One of her kids actually said that her bed didn't look nothing like his mama would make it. So it led the detectives to actually remove her bed, because the bed was made up with like the cover, the pillows and stuff really nicely. But the little boy was like, my mama don't make up her bed like that. So the detectives ended up removing the covers and stuff like that, searching for blood at this point. They end up finding blood. They found blood on one of the pillows. So they end up sending that off. They had to wait 2 weeks at this point to get the results back for the blood. I also wanted to point out, remember when we said that her husband was actually a wounded veteran? It came out that he wasn't, that he actually hurt his ankle in prep school. And that's what it's called, prep school? In prep school during football, he hurt himself. So he done lied and said that he was a wounded veteran, and he got all that money, like contracts and stuff. Like, that's crazy, I just think that's like, wow. So the detective ended up going around the neighborhood to see if he can find, some footage, so he ended up finding some footage from Michelle's neighbor across the street. So, excuse me, he ended up, seeing some footage. He seen Michelle arriving at home at 8:15 p.m. She got in her car, went in her home, and that's all he's seen. He was looking at the footage from 8:15 up until past like midnight, and he didn't see any intruder or anything. So he's just looking confused, like, how did somebody enter her house? If this was a homicide, how did this even happen? I'm out of lemon. So he's confused because he like, if somebody would have entered the home, Michelle had the alarm on all night. The alarm would have went off. The kids would have woke up. You know what I'm saying? But it was nothing. So the detective ended up going home, and he was, having pillow talk with his wife about the case, which I can't. Do they supposed to do that?
I have no idea.
Oh. Well, he was having pillow talk with his wife, and his wife watched a lot of crime TV shows. So she said, well, what if he entered the home before she got home? the detective was still like, nah, because it didn't make sense. Because even if she still had the alarm on before she got home, so the alarm would have went off, which would alert the, the police. So it still didn't make sense, But he ended up going back to the neighbor house, and he wanted to see the footage before 8:15, before Michelle actually got home. So he looked at some footage before Michelle got home, which was like at 8 o'clock at night. He seen a man running down the street towards Michelle's house, and he seen the man actually enter Michelle's house. Then he seen the man exiting Michelle's house 4 hours later. Which was her husband, her ex-husband. They end up arresting him. They went to trial. They actually put the little boy on the stand. Their son on the stand. The little boy was like 9 years old. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, the little boy was about 9 years old. And the little boy actually told the courts that when he was on the stand, that he left a blanket, his blanket that he usually sleep with at night. He left a blanket in his mama room on her bed. He said his dad entered his room with his blanket that he left in his mama room. And he said, my dad didn't say anything to me. He just handed me the blanket and he left. I said, oh my God. So, oh shit. That just proves the dad was in the house. What the little boy got to lie for? That's your dad. Why would you want your dad to be in trouble? He also told the court that he said his dad actually kind of threatened him, basically was yelling at him and stuff to get the alarm code for, Michelle's house, his mama's house. He said he was scared because his dad was yelling at him and stuff, so he gave his dad the alarm code. So that's how his dad was able to get in the house, y'all. So that's how he got in to kill her, They were saying he actually killed her in the bed and then took her downstairs in the basement and made it seem like she, committed suicide. The jury found him guilty of first-degree murder, and they gave him, life in prison on top of 16 years with no parole. That's crazy. Well, it's not crazy that they gave him that sentence, but it's just crazy about just the whole story, Like, he almost could have got away with it.
If it hadn't been for those meddling kids.
The meddling kids.
I was reading it some more. I was reading on it some more.
I actually added this corn, y'all. I wanted some corn today. Yes, I got braces. Yes, I eat corn. Oh, they're good. If it was a lot of edits in this video, I'm sorry, y'all. I had to keep stopping. Somebody asked me to do some challenges. I definitely will be doing some challenges. I want to do other stuff besides eating, y'all. Okay guys, that was the end of this video. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm still having fun. This is day 5 for me. I'm still having fun. But I'll see y'all in tomorrow's video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me, supporting me, for commenting, for liking, for all that stuff. I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate every comment. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye y'all.